Hey friends, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Stephanie and I've been an online part-time reseller since 2002, and this is my Daydreamer Nova. Now, did summer slowdown hit me? Well, let me tell you what I did in the month of July. Now, typically I like to list 50 items per week. That's 10 items per day, Monday through Friday. Well, July I really didn't. I really didn't do that many because it was summer, my kids were home, I was enjoying summer life, not having to get up early, not having to drive in the car for 3 hours every day to take my kids to and from school, and regaining just a little tiny piece of sanity. We took a quick trip to New Orleans with my family. We went to the beach, to the pool, enjoyed just family life. And we got a new puppy. This is Celeste. You've seen her probably in some of the other videos. Look at her, she's getting really big. She's almost 12 weeks now and she's about 2.5 pounds. I know, a giant Cujo style dog. And she's learning all of her best sleepy behaviors from Nova, as you can see. I also worked on my death pile because I had probably literally 4 or 5 totes of unlisted items. Some of those items have been sitting there for months. And before I go into this fourth quarter, into the Christmas season, I wanted to get rid of that as best as I could. So what was left in that death pile was things that took a lot of time to fix or repair. They were worth my time to do them. But going forward, I'm trying not to have a death pile. I think I have a system set up to prevent that from now on. So that's part of the reason why I didn't list so many items last month. And I didn't sell as many items last month as a result, just slightly different. I also was inspired by the Flemish Flippers on Instagram, and I pulled out all of my old personal My Little Ponies that have been sitting in a storage tote for about 30 years. Yeah, about 3 decades. I've had these My Little Ponies just sitting in a storage closet. I had kept them for my daughter. Now she's 10 years old. She's not gonna play with them anymore. And I wanted them to go to a good home, someone that was gonna appreciate them and love them. So I had to clean them and style them and all that other riffraff. So that took a lot of time to get these ponies listed, and you will see some of these in my What Sold video today. Okay, so in June I sold $3,840. That was my profit. Last month, in the month of July, I made $3,470 in profit. That's $370 less, but you know, for the amount of work that I put into this, I'm really happy with that. That's a lot better than I thought I was gonna do, quite honestly, because I really didn't list as much as I normally do. So I'm really happy with that. So to give you a breakdown before we start, I think eBay was a pretty slow month for me. I only sold 42 items total on that platform for $1,384 profit. Now listen to this. On Facebook Marketplace, I sold 28 items, and I made $1,251. That's 34% less items, but only $133 less profit than eBay. So if you're not selling on Facebook Marketplace, I really encourage you to sell on there. They only take a 5% fee versus eBay, which is 10% plus plus plus. On Mercari, I sold 21 items for a profit of $475. On Poshmark, I sold 15 items for a profit of $360. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started with what's sold. We're gonna start off with eBay. This is part 1 of this video. Part 2 will come out next week. Okay, the first item that I picked up is this Magnavox DVD VCR combo. I paid $16 for this at a thrift store, which is kind of high, but it did have the remote, and it sold for $75. Now, I do have a tip for you when you are selling any electronics. You want to make sure that you are taking a picture of the back where the serial number is, in case anybody tries to do a bait and switch on you. Okay, up next is this Yup half ball dog toy. Yup, that name reminds me of that show. Did you ever watch Storage Wars? That guy that would always yell "Yup" when he was bidding? That's what this name reminds me of. Anyways, I paid $2 for this and it sold for $25. Okay, up next is this Knickerbocker plush puppy dog in this train conductor outfit. I paid $4 for him at a thrift store and he sold for $25. He's not in the greatest condition, but that's okay. If you find plush that is flawed or anything that is flawed really, you just want to make sure that you're really clear in your photos and you make sure you describe them in your listing so the buyer knows exactly what they're getting. Like this guy, his plush His fur is kind of missing from his toes here, and I showed lots of different angles so you can see exactly what the condition is of him. Yep, next is this Call of Duty Black Ops backpack that I bought for $6 last year. It only sold for $25, not a whole lot of money, but this was easy to list, easy to ship kind of item. And up next is this Disney Parks Maleficent tote, and I paid $4 for this at a thrift store, and it sold for almost $50. This is a really cool item. I love selling Disney. If you don't know, it's my absolute favorite, and so I'm always on the lookout for Disney items. Up next is this Hot Wheels Batman Wayne Manor playset Batcave. And this is a folding item. So what I did is on the first photo, I showed it unfolded, completely out as you would play with it. Because as it was folded up, it just didn't look like a whole lot. It just looked kind of plain. And also, as you'll notice in this photo here, I do show how big it is. Because I don't want someone to think that they're getting like an Imaginext size playset, which is quite a bit larger. This is a small item. It's only about 7 by 8, as you can see here. And always, always, always put dimensions in your photo so people know exactly what they're getting. Are you Robin? You'd be the worst Robin ever because you're always sleeping. Okay, I picked this up at a thrift store that was closing. I paid only $1 for this. This is a hard hat. Vintage Westinghouse MSA Skull Guard safety helmet, and it's the baby blue color. And this was not in great condition, as you can see here. It's all scratched up, but I was still able to sell it for $50 for this hard hat. I don't know, somebody's dad or grandpa may have worked for this company. I'm not sure, but it's a pretty amazing item. Okay, up next is one of my favorite things to find. It's Ty Buddies plush. I paid $5 for this slush puppy dog at a thrift store, and it sold for $60. So don't be afraid to pay up for plush if the return is there. So I don't do Beanie Babies. I only do Ty Buddies and Pluffies. And when you are selling the Buddies or the Pluffies, you're going to want to make sure you note the year, because there are different ones, different versions. This one is from 2001, as I have noted here. And the versions are slightly different. Like, I've sold this guy before a different year, and I think his mouth was different and maybe his collar was slightly different. So that may not mean a whole lot to you or me, but someone that's replacing this for their son or their daughter, they may want that exact one, that exact style that their kid had before they lost it. Okay, up next I have a vintage Mr. Christmas animated tree topper. Now, my sister and I went to an epic church sale about 2 months ago now, and I got so much stuff. We both did. I picked up a lot of Christmas items. I only paid $2 for this guy, and he sold for $60. Mr. Christmas, pretty much across the board, is a Bolo brand. Look up whenever you see this brand. Okay, is it just me, or does it look like Santa had to take up a part-time job at the local adult entertainment facility? I mean, I know the recession has been tough on everybody, but Santa, this is going too far. Okay, if you have seen my Goodwill Mystery Bag plush video, this little guy was in it. I paid basically 50 cents for this little plush item, and it sold for $19.95, which is not a whole lot of money. Okay, and all this is a cap that goes on top of a koala bear figurine. I didn't have the koala bear. I didn't have any of the other accessories that go with it, but I still got $20 for this tiny little thing. So this is a blind bag type of item. You just never know what people are going to want to buy. Okay, and up next from an estate sale, I picked up this Caddyshack groundhog gopher that sings I'm All Right. I only paid $3 for this guy, and it sold for $45. So anytime you have a singing item or an animated item, make sure you're taking a video of it working, and in your listing on eBay, you can put in embed a video. And if you don't know how to do that, you can go to flippertools.com and get all the information that you need. So basically what you do is you're going to upload your video to YouTube, and you can set it to where only people that can view it are those that have the link. And then you go to the Flipper Tools website, copy and paste your video link in there, and it'll give you the HTML code so you can embed this video into your listing. So now you're giving the buyer confidence that your item actually works. So I'm going to show that to you. Okay, up next I have this another dog toy. This is a BarkBox toy. This is supposed to be a ghoulie worm. I think this is supposed to be like a gummy worm. I can't help but thinking this looks like something else. But you let me know what you think. I paid 50 cents for this item and it sold for $25. Always look up BarkBox items. If you don't know the name of the item, what their funny little name is, on this tag down here, there's a code. So you just go to Bark Shop's website and you type in that code and it will tell you the name of your item. Okay, for $1, I picked up this Aiden and Ane swaddle blanket, and I was able to find out this name. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it, but it's a paisley with orange and pink on it. Now, mine was not in the greatest condition. It had some puckering to it, which I tried to show here in these photos, but it still sold for a great price for $25. Okay, I've had several of these beast flags. I finally sold my last one. I bought these last summer. I think I maybe had 10 of them or so that I paid $7 each for, $6 or $7 each for. And this last one finally sold for $59. Okay, for $2, I picked up this Bath & Body Works Lammy plush, and it sold for $20 on best offer. And I didn't even know that Bath & Body Works sold plush. So I learned something new that day I found this guy. Okay, up next is this Aspen Therapy collar that I paid $3 for at an estate sale, and it sold for $75. Now, you do want to be careful when you're buying medical type products. Certain things are going to be banned from being sold on eBay and Facebook Marketplace. I found that Poshmark and Mercari have a little bit more leeway on what they allow you to sell. So just be careful. This was only $3. I was willing to take the risk on that if I was going to be able to sell it or not, and it definitely paid off. Okay, up next is this Bagalini backpack crossbody purse. I paid $5 for it at a thrift store and I sold it for $40. Now, Bagalini to me is a really hit and miss item. I think if you find the right ones, the backpacks and the crossbody style backpacks to me do well. Not so much the totes, but just look these items up. I feel like I'm being redundant by saying that, by saying you just never know what people are gonna want, but truly look these items up. If it's an unusual Bagalini bag, there's a good chance it is worth something between the $30 and $40 range. So it really depends on what your buy-in cost is. Now this one probably did take me 6 months or so to sell. Originally I was going to use it myself, and then I decided I was going to get a Disney Loungefly bag and use that instead. So it worked out for me. Okay, and then my last eBay item that I'm going to share with you today is this How the Grinch Stole Christmas board game that I paid $3 for, and I sold it for $29. Now, when you're selling games, I always like to show all the pieces so the buyer knows that they're all there and the condition of them. And this looks like a fun game that someone's going to be able to play during the holiday time. Okay, now moving on to Mercari. Now, I didn't sell a whole lot of Mercari last month. I only sold 21 items. So let me show you what I did sell. Okay, up first is one of my favorite things. You know by now, it's a blanket. I only paid $2 for this. This is a vintage pastel plaid fringe baby blanket that I sold on offer for $32. And this is an item that came out of my death pile, and it sold right away, like within minutes. Now, this girl was not in the greatest condition. I got it for free on the side of the road, so 100% profit for me other than having to pay the Mercari fees. And this sold for $15. This is a Mattel Tootie Barbie doll, and she had like the rubbery style body. And she has this little sunsuit on, and it was just not in the greatest condition. She had marks on her body, she had paint on her, and I did try to clean her up, and finally I was just like, it is what it is. It's not worth my time anymore to list it. And I disclosed her flaws, made sure I took good photos, and she still sold. So if you have stuff that's holding you back in your death pile and it's weighing you down, and because they have flaws, just list it. If it's worth still something, even if you're going to get less, just list it. I'd rather have $15 than no dollars. Okay, up next is another Tie Buddy. This is Shadow, and he's a black cat. I only paid $2 for him, and he sold for $40. That's the second time I've also found this one. The first time I found him with the tag on his ear still, and I still have that one for sale because I'm asking significantly more for him. But I'm really happy with this guy. He sold for $40. Okay, this came out of my personal My Little Pony collection. I love this. I so remember playing this when I was a kid. This is a little costume that goes to the little baby My Little Ponies. And I would put him on the tic-tac-toe, the yellow tic-tac-toe pony. He was my favorite, the little baby brother one. Anyways, just this little tiny costume sold for $18 for just a pony costume. That's all this is. And there again, I took the measurement, so they know exactly what it goes to. Okay, another DVD VCR combo. I paid only $5 for this one. And this is a Pioneer brand, and this sold for $85. Okay, up next is a Sony remote control for a CD player. This is just the remote. And I paid only $1 for this at a thrift store, and I sold it for $33. Just a single remote. So people are looking for these items so they can use their electronics. Because as you have seen, I don't always have the remotes. Actually, I rarely ever have the remote when I'm finding DVDs or VCR combos or CD changers. Okay, from a yard sale, I picked this up for only $2. This is a Pyrex green square baking pan. I just love this color, and unfortunately this didn't come through so well in the photos, and it did have flaws, but it still sold for $20 for this adorable little pan. Okay, and the last item I'm going to share with you from my Mercari sales is this Christmas Story ornament set. I love this movie. I just love this movie. I mean, the older I get, the more I identify with Ralphie's dad. Do you guys feel the same way? Like, he was so excited to get such a cruddy prize, this table lamp, because, I don't know, he was just so jaded by life, and, you know, I really identify with him sometimes. But what was also funny about this was on the top right here where you can see that I've erased it with acetone, it actually said to mommy from whatever the kid's name was. So it was kind of sad that some little kid got this for their mom and then mom didn't want it. So she gave it to the thrift store. But I mean, I was happy to find it. I paid $3 for this and it sold for $23. Okay, moving on to Poshmark. Now, on Poshmark, I only sold 15 items. Some of them are going to be quite strange, but as you can see, you just never know where your buyer is. So that's why I cross-post to every single platform as long as that item will fit on the platform. I do not list breakables on Poshmark, though, because in their terms, they say if an item is broken, you will not get reimbursed for that. I'm glad this is entertaining to you. Anyways. So because of that, I do not ever list breakables, and also you want to make sure you're staying within their weight limits for Poshmark. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, the first item is a Walmart dinosaur that I sold for $25. I only paid $1 for this guy, and sometimes brand does not matter. You know, some kid probably got this for Valentine's Day and he lost it, and mom and dad needed a replacement. Okay, up next, this item was pretty wild to me. I only paid 50 cents for this. This is a Looney Tunes Magic Eye folder. It's just a paper folder, that's all this is. And somebody paid $15 plus shipping for this item. And shipping on Poshmark, as you know, is only priority mail. So somebody paid $8 for this, because I don't think this sold on an offer. So $21 basically somebody paid for a paper folder with Looney Tunes. I mean, that is Looney Tunes to me, to pay that much for a folder, but, you know, I'm happy for that because that puts money in my pocket and it puts food in her belly, so. Because this is something I sold out of my daughter's closet. These were actually my daughter's My Little Ponies. So this money goes towards her Disney New Emo fund for whenever she wants to buy a plush or something at Disney World. This goes towards that. But I did want to show you this because, as you can see here, this is a lot of 8 My Little Ponies. Individually, these ponies, they're just not worth anything. But I was able to lot them up. The buyer saves on shipping. They get all the ponies together, and I sold these for $27. Okay, this Elmo, for some reason, just cracks me up. I don't know what it is about his expression, but this is a gunned Elmo puppet. So he's a puppet. And just the look in his eyes, now I know this is kind of sideways. I don't know why Poshmark does this. I upload these in the right order and they turn them. I don't know why they do that. Poshmark, why? Anyways, this expression on this Elmo. This is how I feel after all day listening to my kids ask me questions. Deflated and dead in the eye. I mean... That's clearly how Nova feels too, the way she constantly falls asleep in my videos. Anyways, I only paid $2 for this item at a thrift store and it sold for $50. I always look up puppets, I always look up Gund, and if it was just like a regular Elmo, I wouldn't even bother. But because it was a Gund and a puppet, it was definitely worth looking up. Okay, for $5, I got this Camelback hydration pack, and when I purchased it, I did not realize it was missing the straw tip to this, but still I was able to get $30 out of that, which I was completely happy with. Okay, from that same church sale that I got the Mr. Christmas topper, I also picked up this Telco Winnie the Pooh Motionette. I paid $2 for him, and he sold for $30 on Poshmark, which was wild to me that he sold out there. And as you can see, he had a few flaws, but he still brought a great profit. At a different church sale, I go to a lot of church sales, as you can tell. I live in the Bible Belt. There's a church on every corner, kind of like a McDonald's or a Starbucks here. Anyways, I sold this for $36, and I only paid $1 for it, basically, in a fill a bag kind of idea. Anyways, I sold this for $36. Okay, up next is Facebook Marketplace sales. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I did not sell as many items on Facebook Marketplace as I did on eBay, but I almost made the same amount in profit. And the reason is, I sold a lot of high dollar items on Facebook Marketplace. And you may not think to sell there, but people are on their phones all day long looking at Facebook, so it only makes sense that they're going to be shopping on there also. So let me go ahead and show you what I sold. Now this first item is a Winnie the Pooh baby memory book photo album, and I paid $2 for this at a thrift store, and it sold for $40 within hours. Now there weren't any others of this listed. I had to look at Terapeak to find what the previous listings had sold for, and I want to say they were like $15 or $20. But because I was the only one that had it, I kind of need my own price, and $40 still seemed like a crazy price to me, but somebody was willing to pay that. Okay, up next is this Gaffa Giant Pegasus Unicorn Plush. This guy was huge, 45 inches. And I paid $1 for this stuffed animal, and it sold for $80. So the way I shipped this, and because you might be wondering, how the heck did you ship such a giant stuffed animal? Well, I put it in black trash bags, and you may think, well, that's kind of trashy to put it in black trash bags, but really what's the difference between that and a poly bag? So what I did is I put them in 2 trash bags, so it was nice and thick, nice and tight. I make it as tight as I can when I'm taping it, and I've sold several things this way, several stuffed animals, giant stuffed animals, big giant pillows, like floor pillows, I've sold that way, and I've never had a problem. And I've seen other people sell and ship things just like that too. Okay, for $4 at a thrift store, I picked up this Blue Sky bowl planter, and I love this. My theme is nautical, beachy, not nautical, but beachy theme. But so if this didn't sell, I was gonna keep this for myself, but it sold again almost instantly for $45. Okay, now part of my Little Pony collection, now this price isn't just for one pony, this is actually for 3 different ponies. A buyer messaged me and asked if I would take a little less if she bought 3 of them, and that way she can combine shipping on them. So these are the vintage My Little Pony Generation 1 flocked ponies, and she picked out Ribbon, Wind Whistler, and Skippity Doo. There is a website that you can go to identify these ponies if, like me, you have no clue what these names are, because some of them are quite bizarre. And I'll put that link in my description down below if you want to go to that website. Definitely do that, and also look up to see what generation your ponies are if you don't know, and also where they were made. There's a lot of things that go into affecting the value of your pony. Okay, so this first one here is Ribbons, and it's really hard to see, but she does have a bow on her as her cutie mark. And obviously I made sure to disclose she was missing some of her flocking. And this one here is missing a lot of flocking, as you can see. This one's Skippity Doo, and she has a jump rope cutie mark. And this last one here is Wind Whistler. So because I had already taken these pictures previously, I just made her a separate listing and included the ponies, and I just copied and pasted the description in here. And she was really happy with her ponies when she got them. Okay, this is another item from my personal collection. This is a Pyrex square bowl set. And I used to have a I Love Lucy themed kitchen And I've completely changed that. So I went from red and silver and chrome look to the more light, the blue, the white, the beachy themed. And these items were not in the best condition. They were quite worn, so I put them together, but they still sold for $20 for the pair. Okay, this is a side of the road find, believe it or not. Somebody had a curb alert in my neighborhood, so I got there as fast as I can to go pick up these items. This is one of them that had sold. This is a brand new Miami Dolphins comforter set that sold for $90. It was just sitting on the side of the road, free money, almost $100 that was sitting there, which is wild to me that somebody was just like, I don't want it. Here, come and get it. Also, did you know that in that Hootie in the Blowfish song, I Only Want to Be With You, that line where he says, and the dolphins make me cry, it's about the Miami Dolphins, not the literal dolphins in the sea. I didn't know that till recently. I thought I'd share that little tidbit. Okay, from the thrift store that was closing that I talked about earlier, I also picked up an Xbox 360 drum set for only $1, and it sold for $50. I did not have the dongle, I did not have the pedal, I didn't have anything. I also didn't have a way to test it, so I made sure to list it as untested and in fair condition, but it still sold for $50 plus shipping. And at a yard sale for only $10, I picked up this Fisher-Price Loving Family Grand Mansion dollhouse set. And it came with all these lovely accessories that any kid would love to have to play with this. And it sold for $150 for this set. That's just wild to me. That's real crazy. I do also want to mention, anytime you're picking up these dollhouses and these items here, look up these individual pieces. Yes, it's kind of tedious, and this is one of the items that was in my death pile, but some of these particular items, none that I sold here, but some items are worth a lot of money. I have sold, just like recently today, I sold a Little Tykes, this size, cozy coupe for a dollhouse for $50. And I sold a table and chair set for $20. So you do want to make sure that you're looking these items up to make sure that you're not selling a valuable accessory to a house. Now, none of these that were with the set were worth anything. And also, this dollhouse did have some flaws that I did disclose on it, some discoloration and staining. Otherwise, if it would have been in better condition, it would have been worth even more, if you can believe that. Okay, at a yard sale, I picked up this J at Play Micro Plush Mushable Teddy Bear for only $3, and he sold on offer for $66. I've never heard of this brand before. He has these micro beads on the inside, almost like a Beanie Baby type feel, but he has this nylon belly. I don't know. I don't know why people like these so much, but apparently they have a little bit of a following. So if you see J at Play, here's the logo there. Definitely look them up. Okay, at an estate sale, I picked up this Canon SureShot film camera, and it sold for $40. I only paid $2 for this. I'm not 100% sure why film cameras are now worth something. Maybe it's the novelty. Maybe it's because, I don't know, anybody south of 30 probably has never used a film camera in their life. But look them up. This one I was able to get a battery for and test it. If you do need batteries, Amazon is the best and cheapest place to get the batteries. You can get them for like $1 a pop. Okay, and for $2 at a thrift store, I picked up this Ariel Loungefly backpack, and she's got this saucy look to her. She's given Prince Eric a come hither look. And I sold this backpack for $50. That's just an amazing price for me. Amazing, I just love it. And the last item I'm going to share with you is this Jim Shore Disney Showcase Cinderella Coach Awaits You carriage. Now, I paid about $10 for this item at that same church sale that I got the Christmas items at. And, you know, I know it says it's $200 here, but I sold it on offer for $175, which is truly amazing. $10 into $175, especially because this buyer also had to pay the $20 in shipping because this was a very heavy item. But this sold in probably about 2 or 3 months. So Jim Shore is always a lookup, especially if it's Disney and especially if it's a retired piece. That's what makes this so valuable. These are sold originally in like gifty shops like Hallmark and places like that. Okay, so that's all for this video. Again, this is part 1 of what sold in July. If you want to see what else I sold in the month of July, Make sure you're subscribed to my channel. If you like this video, please give it a great big thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below, especially if you've learned something. Tell me what you sold in July. And I'll see you on the next video. Bye.